Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Inductive Podcast.
Yeah, good enough. Alright, episode 3, Feminists. I'm joined with my girlfriend, if you couldn't tell.
Hey.
We had to bring a woman along for this ride. And the good Mary, good-willed, good stepfather, for Project.
What's up?
What's good?
Feminists get me like.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
So, this is, is feminist, like, is it a meme? Would you classify feminism as a meme, in a way?
Yeah, something like a meme.
To me,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Because there are 76 genders. Alright, let's be honest.
2 to 3.
Okay, let's be honest, right? Feminists back then actually had a goal in mind. Take Mary Wollstonecraft.
You don't know what you're saying, do you?
No. Close. I'll have a picture of her on the screen now. Okay. And and you got her, right? And then you got the modern day feminist. Now, tell me the difference between the two.
Me?
Okay.
No, I'm just saying figuratively. You got one fighting for like women's voting rights and stuff like that, and you got the other.
To basically think that women are better than anything and everything.
Feminists and feminazis. Feminists, feminazis. And I'm gonna ask a girl, right? I'm gonna ask a fellow girl.
Does that mean you're a girl?
A fella girl, does that mean you're a girl?
Yeah, because this relationship is gonna work out if you're a girl.
I can't classify myself as male because that would trigger. I'm a non-binary, a gender. I am a gender. Okay, yeah, I had to read all those fucking Tumblr genders. Kill me. Anyway, I'm gonna ask.
I'll bite you.
So.
Yeah.
Do you feel oppressed by men?
No.
No?
Not in general, no.
Not in general? You don't feel like men have superiority over you?
No.
Higher chances of doing stuff? Like better income?
Well, impregnated women, yeah.
Okay, true. see, that's a plus, right? You know, you don't have to worry about impregnating.
Okay. I will have to say this. There is, in more recent years. Oh, for fuck's sake, I keep being cool. But yeah, in the most recent years, there have been such an increase in jobs for women. However, there are still so many women that think that there is a lack of jobs, how there's not enough jobs. We are building more jobs just for them every single day, but but that's who are mostly making those jobs. It's the old white dudes in Parliament making those jobs, but of course they're wrong.
Yeah.
Because they're males, which is just sort of defying the purpose of women empowerment, which is overall has lost its meaning over time. It used to actually mean equality, but now it's they want more jobs than us, which is the opposite of equality. So now it's turned into something more of a meme.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that some of them complain about getting paid less, even though like it's not about it's about what they do and how long they work. Because if a male and a female work the same job in the same hours, they're going to get paid the same. The only thing that's going to come into contact or come into play is if they're married, how many children they have, because that takes out like tax deduction.
Also, it's a known fact that was originally based off the 1970s work model, which the concept of that was, back then males did the more difficult jobs. Males, they did the mining, and that's just a fact because back then, you wouldn't see too many women out there doing, mining jobs, construction, and even now there's still male-dominated, jobs, but they're still going off that model because the majority of workers within those industries are male, and the majority of workers in industries such as office works and stuff like that, it's like they're a nice mix, but they're still mostly females. So that work model and that payment model is still basing off those like really, really old models, which is sort of a problem. But you know, we still have majority of men working these like really, really difficult jobs, and because of that, that's the reason why men are still getting paid more, is because we've got majority of people in those jobs doing, construction and whatnot.
You also got to keep in mind, back then, the men were at war, and the women had to stay home and keep.
I don't think feminists nowadays realize that it's not just equality for women, but men also.
Yeah, if anyone is feeling oppressed, I'm just gonna throw a clip of a
Air quotes.
Just a air quote feminist, right? Just play the.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, because like apparently men have been oppressed for being men. Oh. We make a That's mental health issue. That's not a mental health issue. That's not a men's right.
So that's basically what I'm talking about, right? So feminists, right? Back then, men were working hard jobs. Men was out in the war. It sounds like I'm kind of pushing the male agenda, but I'm not. Feminists had to worry about voting. Voting didn't come into play until I wish I paid more attention to history.
The 80s?
Yeah, 80s, I think.
Or the 70s?
I feel like it's 70s, 80s, maybe even 60s.
I have no idea.
I think it's like even way before that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we're fucking.
I think in Australia though it was like early 60s.
Yeah, because the 70s are like.
Well, I feel like it was.
No, it was 80s.
I feel like it was before the Great Depression. No, a little bit after. Maybe I don't know.
See, I have no idea because I suck at history.
Let's not worry about the age or the time. Just know that women fought for the right to vote, right? And they got it. And if I remember correctly, what about the Prohibition Act? Housewives were mad at the husbands for going out late and drinking back then.
Yeah.
Was that seriously a thing in America?
Yep.
Yep.
I think they had bootlegs.
What? That wasn't because of that.
What?
What?
Yeah, they were.
Are you saying alcohol was banned because of women?
No. It was one of the reasons.
Oh,
No, it was because of the housewives. I'm just quoting my history teacher. Don't get mad at me.
But
He also
made up of women.
Don't get mad at me.
Your history teacher also said that the government's a conspiracy. So
no, not the right one.
What one?
It was I can't say.
Oh, okay.
So anyway.
Yeah, you cussed.
So anyway, yeah, it's just a whole bunch of. It's a clusterfuck. Now, some main topics, because we've already cleared the floor with that.
I'm cringing.
Why?
At you.
Why?
I don't know.
The main topic, right? And I asked you, right? I asked you. I asked both of you.
Yeah.
Are women really oppressed by men?
Yes. I don't know. I can't really say.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not.
We can't speak for everyone. All right. Let's throw that out now. We cannot speak for everyone. There are some men who do treat women like shit.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you should.
There's also women who treat guys like crap.
Yeah, but that shouldn't mean that like everyone should just single out every male.
I think most feminists.
Really quickly.
What?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go.
Because I was going to say really quickly, back onto what you said about even some men are being oppressed. You know, the cases, there's few cases in, Australia, but there is so many more cases of this happening in America of abuse to men by women. And it's happened a lot, especially in the most recent years. But of course, the amount of women who go on to trial for these acts don't actually stay on, in trouble. Most of the time, it's because the man's not being man enough, which is the exact opposite of what feminism is meant to be. But the fact is, if you're not man enough, that makes you a problem. And a lot of feminists say, we don't show emotions because we are, at a young age, constructed to be people that can't show emotion. We've been told from a young age, men are not allowed to show emotion, blah 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 blah. And the fact is, when we go into court for quote unquote abusing women, and majority of the time, that may be the case, but a lot of the time it's also the case that's the woman.
Yeah.
So that tends to be a bit of a problem within our society.
Yeah, a lot of men abuse cases aren't taken seriously because exactly the point, they're a man.
Take a look at Matthew Santoro and his girlfriend. Remember, I think it was the bitch that did the fat shaming video. I don't even know her name. I don't even remember her name.
Weird.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it was the one.
12-year-old streak in her hair.
Yeah, it was the one with the memes. Yeah.
Oh shoot! Oh god.
I can't honestly remember her name, but yeah, she just basically verbally abused him and then threatened to kill herself if he left her. So it's not just women that are oppressed,
It's men too.
Yeah.
I do have to say, we need some sponsors up in this shit. We need some sponsors.
We could sponsor Mountain Dew because we have so many.
I'm gonna get kidney cancer drinking Mountain Dew. Hell yeah, sponsors. Kidney cancer. I'd die of kidney cancer.
Yes, I'm sure they're gonna sponsor us now.
I'd die for some Mountain Dew.
What?
Huh?
Shit just crashed.
Oh, that's alright. That's alright. Do you hear? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, good man.
You didn't hear about Mountain Dew cancer? Don't worry about it. It's just fine.
I heard that part. It just cut out just after you said drinking it got cancer.
Perfect. That's all you need to know.
It's good. So.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yep.
What else do we need to talk about? Because we're only 12 minutes in. We have 18 more.
Oh shit, I was thinking of stuff too last night. I had a complete set of arguments prepped for this.
What bugs me most about feminists is that they don't take men's rights seriously. They think that theirs is more important than men's.
And it's if they really because that's why we preferred the old feminists, because they cared about equality, where now it's mostly about how men are
evil.
shit because they don't actually need us. And with the development of the use of bone marrow within women to get other women pregnant, because there's a possibility now that women can get pregnant from other women, it's now to feminists giving them a reason to say we're pretty much obsolete, we're not really any use to society. But there's some stereotypes out there are really really true, say strawberry jam, to open up the jars, there's so many cases where women can't actually open up the jars, and that's a fact, because ever since the dawn of creation, if you're a biblical person, if you're like me who's an atheist, I believe in Big Bang, but whatever, that's a whole other story. It's been shown that men have over 25% more body mass. So but because of that, we are always seen as masculine. Well, some men are of course weaker than other women, but majority of us do have over that 20% of body mass, and because of that, we can be shown as masculine, but they don't want us to be masculine, they want us to do the exact opposite. So for those strawberry jar problems where it's opening up the lid, if a man went out and did that, just for the sake of doing it, to be nice to a feminist, that's the incorrect thing to do, because you're sort of showing what she can't do. And so it's been a big problem with just mundane things. Like, I can go onto the train, ask if I can help this chick lift this object. Some of them say yes, some of them won't mind. Others will be like, fuck you, how dare you even do that? Like, it's me doing a bad thing.
I myself can't open jars, so
I have to end up opening it. But it's not like she gets triggered. That word, it means activate. Like, I googled it, it means fucking activate. So we activate them, but doesn't that mean that we turn them on? But
like feminists secretly turned on by.
Oh my god, you're turning me. Yeah. Alright, activate. Triggered. But it's not like she does that. It's just I don't know. I think the kindness, like, from back then, helping women out and helping women out now, it just depends. It's all a variation on how the person is. If they feel oppressed, and I say that in air quotes, then they're probably going to yell at you. But if they're, they're just fucking normie.
It's like, I think it was Floozy Tube, I don't know. He had this feminist on one day, and they were talking about how she was, she lost her dog, right? And she's putting up posters around town, for a lost dog. But at one point, she just couldn't handle it. She went on her knees and started to cry because, she was upset. Her dog's gone. That's fair enough. Now, Nova, be serious. Like, you didn't know she was a feminist. You saw a girl on her knees crying in the middle of the street. What would you do?
I'm not sure.
Well, most guys, you'd think, would go to her and say, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" That's just a normal thing you do with each other as humans. Now, this guy went up to her and asked, is she okay? Apparently, because he did that, she made her feel, not good enough and, quote unquote, raped her.
Because a man looked at a girl, he raped her.
And asked, if she was okay. Now, what this has done now. It's pretty much made the word rape obsolete. It's not a word that we should be using for sexual. It's just a thing that we should do when men oppress women, which is completely incorrect. We should be using it for proper legal terms, but we can't use it anymore because rape has gone on to about 100 other definitions, and that's still happening now. And because of if you make a joke about rape, or you make a joke about anything, that is just wrong to women, and that's the problem. Also, like, again, this is another problem because most of our jokes are dark, evil things. Like, they really have really bad constructs. Like, the best jokes, like that joke, I don't know if I told you, it was I was watching this video and this guy was saying the exact same thing. It's like, jokes are bad construct, and he gave the idea of the joke of how many light bulbs how many cops does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I think I remember that.
None, because they're too busy being in the room because it's black.
Yeah. Yeah, that was...
Like, see? But that's pretty funny, and, that's taken in some really dark areas. But as,
edgy
like
jokes are the
said,
best jokes.
Dark jokes are the best jokes. And, if you make a joke about rape, it's not a bad thing. It's just because majority of our jokes come from dark roots. And now feminists have sort of just changed the word rape to something that's just, I went to go get the groceries and some dude was at the checkout. I got raped. Like, it's lost meaning.
So, are they thinking that rape means, like, just being in contact with a man?
you'd be surprised how many women actually believe that rape is just a man going up to them.
So being in the
past
contact.
them.
No.
Just anything.
Jesus.
Like, it happens way too much, and there's been too many fake rape cases because that seems to be the title
That's
one.
triggering me.
Like, rape is when someone forcefully, like, sexually forces themselves upon you in some way or another.
Exactly, but now it's become this whole, like I said, fake rape, where
Yeah.
it's been so many cases now taken into court where, you know, a man's just, you know, like he's just been on like this train or subway, whatever you guys call it, you know, with his legs just slightly too far apart. That was rape, because they felt threatened, and which is they shouldn't. I mean, yeah, I don't want my fucking family jewels crushed on the train. That's the last thing I want. So I gotta spread my legs a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. But of course, it's oppressing women because, you know, it shows our masculinity apparently, and it's fucked, honestly.
You know, I've seen
That's an Australian's point of view, anyway.
BuzzFeed is a very, very biased site, and yeah.
Yep. So I'm guessing you've probably seen the video of the 30 questions feminists have, or something. I think it's something like that.
I don't think I've seen
It's
it.
just a bunch of questions. Yeah.
I have.
And, you know,
You have?
They say
Well, good.
they say like stupid statements like one of them was like, "Why don't men like rom-coms?" or some shit like that, as if that's a problem.
Yeah.
But okay, so I like how I say shit, and then I can just bring it back into feminism. But women, like, if you look at movies like rom-coms, who is the person that's usually like, you know, they cause the breakup, but they go out of their way, they change their entire lives to make it right? Because from what I've seen from rom-coms, it's usually the male character. So now we're sort of basing off these movies, we're assuming that we have to give up our lives, you know, our jobs, our career, everything to, you know, make women happy. And because of that, you know, it's sort of, you know, it's done exactly the opposite of what feminism is meant to be, which is meant to be for equality between men and women. So they are trying to tell us, why can't we be more like men off rom-coms? Because they're way too unrealistic.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents.
I brought up BuzzFeed for just a simple, just a simple comparison with the man spreading. Is like, if you see on a train, there's a girl, right, with her bag and another bag, and like her laying across the seat. Like, that's just one girl. Like, take it, and it wasn't a small, it was a crowded train. Yeah. You see, BuzzFeed doesn't cover that stuff. I don't know.
And yeah, that's the problem, is now that feminism's sort of taken over companies and shit like that, we've now gone to a world where pretty much even companies have to agree with what feminists say. And yeah, points of views have become biased. There's a couple, I think it's New York Times. I don't know if anyone's ever read New York Times. I have only ever read some online, and there's some pretty biased articles there. And it's like, it sounds biased, and you know, it's going to news agencies. Like even here in Australia, the Advocate, for where I used to live, seemed super biased. And then I found out majority of workers there were feminists. So, you know, I'm there reading a paper that was completely biased against men, which now, like I said, it's against what feminists are. They're meant to be equality.
I just want to know why it resurfaced. Like, who resurfaced it and why? Because everything was fine, and then someone probably made a video of something at some point, and it just sparked something.
Well, what it really was, it was It started off just like small blogs off things like Tumblr and Twitter and whatnot, and then it moved off to bigger things, bigger YouTubers. There's this I forgot her name. This is Blondie, who was talking about feminism, and originally all her YouTube channel was saying how the human body is normal, stuff that happens to the human body through puberty, etc., etc. It was an educational channel.
Lacey Green.
And then it turned into, I don't know. Yeah, Lacey Green, that's the one. Yeah, and then she turned into like a really big feminist. Even though if you watch some of her streams, she gets pretty fucking kinky on some of them, and it's sort of done the exact opposite of what she's meant to be. And she's real.
Have you not heard? She actually got with a she got with a guy that is anti-feminist. Yeah. Oh, and I don't know if you heard about it in Australia, something about a red pill.
What?
The red pill. You heard about that?
I don't think I've ever heard about it, but what is it?
Well, I don't know, because the news people keep shutting it down before it even gets a chance for. They're not giving them a platform. I think it's something. I don't know if it's for feminists or for anti-feminists. I think it's for anti-feminists. Because I think the red pill is like the where you take the other side's point of view, like they just compare. It's like a relationship, right? You gotta make compromises.
Yeah. Compromises.
It's nifty.
Oh, wait, are you talking about the American documentary?
I think, yeah.
Which is being criticized for its sympathetic portrayal of men's rights movement, appeared last week on The Project and Sunrise, which is in both Australian news channels.
Ah.
Yeah, that's the documentary's popped up here in Australia as well, and by the looks of it, yeah, it's anti-feminism.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I get why most people don't like feminists nowadays, because feminists nowadays are just trying to be superior to men instead of equal to them. That's my opinion.
Which is and I 100% agree with that opinion, because that's pretty much what this podcast right now is about. Is about how some women are trying to sort of take over. I don't like using the word take over. The words take over, but take over the male race or dominate them, which is bit off.
Just a little bit. You said you brought up religion near the beginning. I think we can make a podcast episode on religion too.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love religion.
Yeah, let's
perfect.
Burn this motherfucker down. Yay.
Back to back, just two fire topics. Yep.
Religion.
Bringing all the goddamn hate. If anyone just.
Yeah. What religion are we gonna start with?
Well, I'm just gonna throw out Catholic. Let's just keep that. Let's just say Catholic. I have a lot of things about Catholic, but
Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that. Yes. Okay. Let's not talk about that. We'll have plenty of time. So we have about 1 minute and 13 seconds left. So, in conclusion, feminists, well, most feminists, they need to open their eyes. They're not being oppressed. There's nothing wrong with anything. I mean,
them.
There's nothing wrong with anything. Okay, maybe the government, right? That's the why don't they focus on the government instead of I'm feeling oppressed?
Why don't they focus on bigger problems?
Think about if they did this, but for world hunger.
Yeah, or
how much shit would get done.
The only bigger problem.
Country.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but the only bigger problem is when they look over and they see that their spouse Their wife has a bigger dick than them. That's the big problem.
That's, I'm sure.
The wife has a bigger penis than them. Yeah.
I do.
So anyway. Anything you want to say before we end the episode?
Are you talking to her or me? I don't know.
You. Both.
Hey, oh shit, hey, okay. Go check out my channel, everybody. That's all. That's all I care about. That's all I'm on here for, is Steal Nova's views.
Channel promotion.
Anything you want to say?
What?
Anything you want to say?
Bye.
Bye. That's it.
Bye.
Alright. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, and subscribe. Thank you all for watching. If you could. Please sponsor us, Mountain Dew. Please. We need you to sponsor us.
If you sponsor him, Mountain Dew.
Please. Please splurge on me and Mountain Dew me, Daddy. Please Mountain Dew me. Splurge on me like you haven't splurged.